Alright, so we got another week behind us, right? It's actually 10 o'clock right now. I've been able to formulate entire sentences that formulate paragraphs. So I'm kind of hanging out in my old Dodge Dart. I left the shop truck at the shop yesterday when I was at work. One of these days this will get dragged down. It's a worthless piece of iron for any real retrospect, but I like this specific car, not this make, not this model, this specific car. So I'll rebuild her Monday. All right, let's get to the skinny. This week we got a 60 bug. I wanted it out of there. I haven't even cut the roof out yet. Pisses me off. Roof should have been cut out Tuesday. So we'll start cutting on it probably this Tuesday. We're 1 full week behind of my intended schedule on that car. I got a cute little 31 tutor in. We're going to do a lot of lead work on there's a style line or a belt molding, whatever you want to call it, where the clasps used to go for the vinyl top. It's been filled in by a previous, lack of a better word, body man. They covered this thing with like an inch of Bondo. It was insane. There's enough sectioned in areas on this roof. You would shake your head if you saw it. We're going to do a lot of good work to it and go from there. The owner's probably going to end up bringing it back after we get the basic body work done because he's got a roof that's got to be completed in elsewhere. So that's that. That's pretty simple. That's kind of what's going on in the shop. We had to scale back. Why? And regroup. Because I spent the last couple months with 4 people in the shop, 3 on the floor, and then me on the floor as often as I can get there. On the good side, I can get on the floor more, I hope. I got a hold of a local parts vendor. I give him a list. He should be calling me or emailing me back with pricing and availability on those lists. I gave him 3 takeoffs I'm working on for budgets, budget for commitment in time and materials for 3 different owners. If he can come up with that, then I'll get him a couple more projects that we're looking at. We'll see. It took 4 days to get the guy on the phone. I understand he's busy because he's like the only man in his operation. Maybe he needs to hire out. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't need to hire out. So that's going to let me step back on the floor more, hopefully. If this guy is able to source parts for me, it's like having another person in the office, basically. With that, one of my guys went back to finish some classes. He's getting his diploma. He's got 2 classes he's short on, and he's going to go back. He's gone back and taken care of that. So we lost a guy every morning till 1 o'clock. Every day till 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Which kind of put a crimper on. I mean, that's 20, 30 hours a week pretty quick, depending on when we start in the morning and all that jazz. So we'll just say 20 hours pretty easy. We lose. And then I had a guy just vanish on Monday at lunchtime. We took lunch at 12:45, and he left. Which is interesting because he was the grown-ass man with the family, as opposed to the other 2 kids that they're just out of high school. They're just coming into their own as far as adulthood goes. I don't understand it, but it's not for me to understand. I mean, the guy was on his what do you call that? Trial phase at the shop anyhow. So that's that. That's what's going on in the shop. Right now we got 4 cars. At least, gosh, I'm gonna think 68 Chevelle. I'm waiting on parts. I'm gonna button up most of it, but we're waiting on a dash panel so I can install it. 71 Monty waiting on parts. 58 Fury waiting on parts. The 58 Fury is a tough one. The body bushings, I understand a 57 or a Tri-5 Chevy body bushings will work. I got to get those located and purchased. The tough one's the floor braces. You got 2 floor braces that come down the front of the firewall and under for those body mounts, and then you've got 2 floor braces that go across the floor, one about midway and one more towards the back. They're gone. They're just chewed up. I have 0 point of reference. After we get there, there's going to be some exterior sheet metal needed, but we're getting there. I'm going to try to talk the owner possibly into new door shelves because these are pretty fried. The frames themselves are pretty fried. Anytime they're that far gone, you start stitching them back together, I can make them fit the car. What I found very difficult to make customers understand is you need new body bushings, you need good floor bracing, and then you need the chassis you're going to marry it to permanently. Not a chassis, the chassis. Those are 3 big ones, especially if you're doing a rotisserie. Something that's really going to pop, something really going to stand tall. That shit's got to line up, you know, and the chances of it lining up correctly on a donor chassis, or if you're building a new chassis, the original chassis, and then putting it on the new chassis, pretty minimal. And that's been the hardest one to drill through people's heads. So now I've got my arteries are clogging as we speak because I got all these cars I'm waiting on parts. Monty's not the owner's fault. It's my fault. 68 Chevelle, not my fucking problem, not my fault. If I had all my parts, we would have had it jammed out months ago. I let it fall on the back burner. 58 Fury, I've been pushing for about 4 months, 5 months to get these things lined up that the owner needs. He drops off a body, goes, oh, I'll just throw it on the rotisserie. Good guy, great guy. Mechanical capability is there. He can build an engine, he can build a chassis. He's really learning with body and all that, and the process. He's learning. He's never taken a car this far. He never will take another car this far again, I'm sure. Because we have an understanding it's going to take this much money for labor and consumables, but this number we don't know. That's all the parts, the sheet metal, the stuff. And he's learning that's the difficult step. Buying things out of sequence doesn't help, especially when you're running very cash flow budget oriented. So there's that. We can't even move on it yet. 51 panel, my buddy Al's truck. We just got to divorce it from the chassis, get it emptied out, get it stripped, get the wiring out of it, get the dash plate out of it, get it ready for soda blast, get the chassis rolled out. Well, I don't know what we're gonna do with the chassis. It's the owner's. He can do what he wants with it. He'll probably put it up and sell the chassis. So we'll probably have a 51 Chevy panel chassis up for sale soon. Now I got to go out to my buddy Josh's place in Parkersburg, McDivitt's Customs. Picking up a chassis there. It's an S10 we're getting from him, and we're gonna nip it, tuck it, chop it, crop it, whatever we got to do. We're gonna make it work for this. We're gonna build it for this 51. And what that does is it alleviates a myriad of issues. We have good modern suspension under it. We have a disc brake in the front. I don't know what year the chassis is specifically, but we could have drum or disc on the rear. Very easy conversion at that point. Everything's there. It's simple. It's tidy. Then we can build it, send it off, blast it, and have it powder coated. One of our big shops in town started doing powder coating. Bought out a guy that was doing powder coating and lost his tail and so forth. But there's that. Let me see what else. We were doing well. We were getting the cash flow moving like it was supposed to, and then all this issues of manpower came up. The last 2 weeks, my manpower kind of nosedived. I had one guy not pulling his weight, and then he just quits. So now we're getting, not only are we bottlenecking the shop because of space, I've got to get some of these projects cleared out. I got a 66 Chevelle. I got it divorced from the chassis. All I got to do is move it over, cut the body bungs out of it, and weld in new ones. That's easy. I can find them. And if I can't find the bungs, I can make them. But it's got to happen. it's got to happen in the next 10 days. Because if I can get all that set up, I can drop it back on there with the new bushings after repairing the frame, and we're off to the races. So these are things strategically on the floor I'm looking at. And then I've got, like I said, proposals. Neighbor's dog liked me today or something. Or they see a rabbit over here. So then I've got the logistics. Getting the parts here, getting the estimates written. I've looked into a program. I got a trial version, so I'm going to check it out. But I've got to get something where even if I've got to manually enter lines initially, I got to get something set up for the restoration, for estimating, because I can spend 4 days, all day at work, sourcing parts, all that jazz. Hopefully I've fixed the sourcing parts issue. With the program, hopefully I've fixed the time it takes to do all that. Really looking forward to trying to peel out of here next Sunday, at least, to drop down to Kansas City, get to meet Greg Porter and some of the other YouTube guys. I would love to be able to peel off for that. So that's going to be an effort for sure. It might turn into I record Sunday morning coffee the night before, post it, and we take off early in the morning. That's my aim. I'm an old punk rock kid. We got a band called X. They're from the late 70s, early 80s, and they were huge out in LA and huge on the punk scene. Kind of a rockabilly flair. They're performing tonight. I don't see me making it out to that, and which is sad because they're on my bucket list. I don't know. We'll figure that out. And then you've got other stressors, cash flow, regulatory issues. We got over our major regulatory issues with county. It looks like everything's been settled and is laying out in front of us. We got to get the lot cleaned up, which the last push for the lot cleanup is tomorrow. What pisses me off, what I can't fucking deal with is I had my nephew's working on a truck there. He's supposed to be taking out trade in cash or labor, which I haven't seen either. But he's supposed to be picking up the chassis for his pickup, getting it hauled off. Fuck, he can use a trailer I've got available. I got a customer with a car sitting there. It's been done for a week. I guess he's getting charged storage now. And then I got 2 other cars. One's a buddy of mine where we're going to help him get it set up for running the dirt track, figure 8 something. Crash him up. I don't know what we're going to... Anyhow. And then I had one that we've had in paid storage. And I don't paid storage for just anybody, but it's an old friend of mine. And these are friends. These are people I'm friendly with. These are people I'm social with. And I call them, go check it out. I can't have these here. We got to get something figured out. The first is coming up. It's got to be done by then. I hear fuck all from no one. This affects my livelihood. This affects my ability to make money. This affects my ability to feed my family. So I guess at the end of the day, you find out who your fucking friends are. Because it's convenient for them to just ignore it and let me take the fucking heat. They're not doing nothing about their shit that's in storage in my lot that's got to go. I despise people. As a general group, individual persons I can deal with, but I'm learning more and more that people's not my thing. I don't know. I can't even say that. I mean, fuck. By and large, people are cool, especially car people. It wears my ass out because trying to get everything on plan so I can meet my goals. And then I've got these so-called friends that keep bucking the trend, keep pulling every time I'm pushing. So that's frustrating. So I'll clear that up this week. I got to get pissed off and crawl up some people's asses, or I got to shove cars out and just call the county and have them hauled off. Fuck them. Nothing I can do about it. Which will ruffle feathers, it'll make enemies and so forth, but I got to stand up for me and mine. Alright, I'm going to peel out of here. I finally got a take that I think I like. And we're going to go from there. So we got stuff going on. We got rid of Lazy in the shop. Which is amazing because I think the contrast seeing with one of the kids, seeing the other guy fucking always overperforming, or at least on par or above. And then the other guy just being a lazy fuck. I think he's realizing where he was. He's realizing where he was headed, because he was headed down the same road as Lazy that quit. So that put things in perspective on him, and he's steered into the correct lane now, I believe. I don't know. So God's willing, we'll get the cash flow where it needs to go. I've got a gob of projects there, a gob of projects on the horizon. I'll get the footage. I'll get the footage up. I think I just need to get a desktop at home, a desktop at the shop, and a good thumb drive, so I can do editing while I'm making calls and dealing with that shit in the mornings or even evenings. I get home and I'm distracted by everything at home, my responsibilities at home. So I think if I can get desktops set up in both locales, then I can save and I can load up when I get home at night. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you know, fuck it. We move forward. I'll get more engaged with the YouTubes. Oh, goodness. Well, I thank you all for stopping by. I've learned a lot from you guys. I've learned a lot from the Facebook groups and some gentlemen on there. You know, I've got a good advisory council. How's that? And it helps. And my Sunday therapy sessions have definitely helped. I'm going to get out of here. I love this old Dart. It makes me smile when I can drive it. I haven't been able to drive it in several years, but whatever. So next Saturday, I want to say it's next Saturday, is, yeah. Next Saturday, shop is 4 years old. Smith Welding Restoration is 4 years old next Saturday. That's kind of exciting news. It's kind of cool. I'm going to cut you all loose. I'm out of here. You have a good day. You have a good weekend. And I'm really looking forward to finally getting down to KC and hanging out with some YouTube guys next weekend. I'll try to get footage of that and get that posted too. We'll see. At the very least, I'll be posting pictures. How's that? Talk to you guys later.